This year, the leading Republican running for governor is the closest thing to a Trump clone that I've ever seen in your state. You either keep Gavin Newsom as your governor, or you'll get Donald Trump. It's not a joke.
President Joe Biden there saying a clone of Donald Trump is fighting to unseat California Governor Gavin Newsom in today's recall election. So it should come as no surprise that yesterday, said Trump clone Larry Elder's team was already claiming on a website funded by his campaign that fraud had occurred, that it had been discovered in the election results, leading Governor Newsom to a fraudulent victory in Elder's view. The problem is there hasn't been a victory for Newsom yet because Election Day hadn't begun when that website went up. Not a single ballot had been reported yet. So the Larry Elder campaign in the real world might have a hard time explaining how or why they could offer so much detail on how the so-called fraud, which wasn't really fraud, was uncovered in the non-existent results. The website said this, quote, statistical analysis used to detect fraud in elections held in third world nations like Russia, Venezuela, and Iran have detected fraud in California, resulting in Governor Gavin Newsom being reinstated as governor. The primary analytical tool used was Benford's Law and can be readily reproduced. Of course, that didn't happen. That's not real. There's been no evidence of fraud in California, no evidence of widespread fraud in any state, anywhere. No matter what lies, the right-wing politicians continue to tell the American people, perhaps in a bid to save face when they lose, when the disgraced ex-president loses. And the polls are looking very grim for Larry Elder. The three most recent ones show Californians choosing to keep Gavin Newsom as their governor by double-digit margins. It appears Elder, as a result, perhaps, reached swiftly into Donald Trump's playbook, claiming it was rigged to hedge what could turn out to be a sizable loss. Joining our coverage, politics and journalism professor at Morgan State University, Jason Johnson. He's in California, observing and reporting on the recall. And NBC News correspondent Jacob Soboroff, live for us near a polling site in San Francisco. And Jacob, you've got news.
Yeah, hi, Nicole. I can confirm, first of all, what you said, which is not a single ballot has been counted yet in California. Polls don't close until later this evening. And in all seriousness, when I talked to Larry Elder yesterday about this election, whether or not he would accept the results, and he declined, the next question I had is, what would Governor Newsom do in response? Well, now we know we've had the opportunity to catch up with Governor Newsom up here in San Francisco. He traveled from down south in Southern California up here earlier this morning. And I spoke to him about what Larry Elder said and what he would do in response. Here's his answer. I spoke to Larry Elder yesterday, and he refused to commit to accepting the results of the election. I'm curious if you heard what he had to say. What do you make of that? And obviously,
I'll take my mask off on that one. I mean, just think about what you just said to me. Donald Trump putting out something for the second time. What that message sends to the United States, people all across this country, the vote somehow doesn't matter, that its whole thing is rigged. I mean, they are quite literally trying to dismantle democracy and trust in this country and our very nation. I mean, this is fundamental. This is serious stuff. I hope people are paying attention to this. Look, I could care less what he does at the election. I'll accept the will of the voters no matter what it is. Period, full stop. The idea they're even playing around with this and vandalizing trust and confidence, that's consequential, and it has real impact across this country. And I'll tell you what, the irony of it, and it really is the irony, it's going to hurt the Republican Party because they're telling their voters their vote doesn't even matter. So it's a hell of a thing. And I hope people are waking up to what's going on in this country. This is a serious moment in this nation. What's happening all across this country, we've got to push back. And that's why in California, we need to send a powerful message. Hell no to these recalls and the cynicism and Trumpism and everything that's going on with voter suppression, attacking women's rights. This is a fundamental moment in American history.
Nicole, Governor Newsom saying that the Republicans are trying to dismantle democracy and that he will accept the results of the election, win or lose, full stop. A very different message than we heard from Larry Elder yesterday.
I mean, Jacob, is there any example where a Republican in the state who's ahead has ever flirted with the dismantling of democracy?
No, off the top of my head, no. There'll be historians of California who I'm sure will tweet me after this. But the idea of it, the only place I've seen it from personal experience is last November in Las Vegas, Nevada, when I chased Rick Grinnell, Matt Schlapp, and Adam Laxalt into a waiting van to be spirited away after they presented without evidence claims of voter fraud in Nevada. You know, to go back to what you and I talked about yesterday, this is straight out of the Donald Trump playbook, and you heard the governor refer to that as well. Is there a Republican icon in California that's done this? I don't believe so. Clearly, there is one in national Republican politics, the former president of the United States.